everything from pop culture to what people are buying and what people are hoarding. That would be our friend Jeff Mackey, the lone wolf.
I'm not putting my fingers on anything these days, buddy. I've already done my hamster coughing. That's the German word for hoarding, hamster coughing. It's an excellent
hamster
word.
Coughing?
Hamster coughing. It means hamster stuffing things in your cheeks. The Germans never let you down when it comes to freaky words. But yeah, things are good. Things are good.
Good. Well, Jeff, obviously, now, by the way, folks, Jeff is coming to us out on the West Coast, undisclosed location somewhere near San Diego. That's all.
In the vicinity, yes. The
general
viral-proof vicinity.
And it's a horrible trade-off, Jeff, going from, what was it, Rye, New York? Is that where you guys were?
Oh, living? God, Bedford. We're up in horse country. No. Yeah, it's nice out here. We're all going down with the virus anyway. You might as well have a tan. So it's good. It's very nice and relaxing, other than obviously the global tumult and horror story that is unfolding before us every day. Other than that, it's terrific.
I'm going to use that one. Might as well have a tan.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that you're still keeping your sense of humor about you, Jeff.
We're locked in. We're in day 4 of the quarantine in here. It's seriously though. This is the first day the kids are working from school. It's been a disruption in everything. And as you know, all I do is retail stocks. So we're working hard, but maybe we live in interesting times. They're all moving, and the market's getting a little smarter about retail because nothing like a supply chain disruption to get people working up and thinking.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it's pretty incredible, Jeff. And one observation that I have about some of the things you and I discussed just prior to the call or to the stream was that you don't really, let me pull up, by the way, while we're talking about it, let me pull up a little something here on SPG, because weren't you just talking about Simon Property Group?
Simon Property Group. And these are companies that now, it's a mall owner. They own malls. It's obviously not sexy. Mall apocalypse as not only not a buzz term, it already was a buzz term. So, it didn't become a new company. This stock is down 50-some% in the last 5 days. It was $148 30 days ago, and it hit 50-something today. I mean, it's just been a bottomless pit because the news has been coming off. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off one hair at a time. And as they close these retailers, which, by the way, if you just think about the business model of a retailer, John, the idea is to jam as many people as possible into a confined space, which is your store. Close the stores. The stores are obviously going to close. Apparently that everybody realized it in the last couple of days. Simon Property Group cut in half, which is nothing compared to a lot of these retailers. I mean, Macy's has been a bottomless pit. And the stocks kind of, the book says they bounce. They have to bounce at some point for all these mall stores, all of these mall owners, because the trade has kind of been one that's almost like the B-side of the same album as airlines and cruise liners. Who's going to get hammered by this? Well, it'll be those two for sure. And then you get to the malls. Of course, they're going to close the malls, but the market continues to be surprised. And I'm seeing Gap, Macy's actually went sub hat size today, which I've been snarky and mean and short and grumbling about Macy's for years. I can't believe it's this low. Just decimated. And every single day there's a relentless offer of Macy's shares. It down another 8% today, just because the market's open and screw Macy's. And I've never seen a market quite as relentless as this one. You see that it's look at that every single day. And so it's been a hard trade in that, at some point they have assets. And then on the other hand, you have so many unknowns. When does the public get back together? When do we go back out in public? Macy's is a really bad retailer, hedged by kind of mediocre possible office space stores. And it turns out commercial real estate is not a great hedge for retail real estate, which is almost the same thing. So it's a bottomless pit at this point. People are just trying to figure out if they're going to be able to sell and essentially make their interest payments and get inventory by spring, because this quarter is a complete write-off for the retailers. They're done.
Well, Nordstrom, of course, announced, let me throw that one up here, Jeff. JWN announced that they are closing stores for, I think, 2 weeks at least during this. And there you see.
And here, this is if you put those two in, throw Macy's right in the corner there to compare the securities on our Y charts. My friend Shawnee runs this company. It's a really nice little feature. These two stocks, Macy's and Nordstrom, are trading like Remus and Romulus. I mean, just absolutely joined as though they are one single entity. They're wildly different companies that are in basically the same business. So I'll concede they're both department stores. But Nordstrom is quite waspily kind of chipped away at this omni-channel revolution, doing all the smart things and operating the way a company that's owned by a pretty smart family would. Macy's, on the other hand, is over-levered. They haven't spent on a store in ages, and they really have no way out. And so at some point, somewhere, Nordstrom's going to be the long and Macy's is going to be the short. I've been short Macy's forever. It's really hard to like Nordstrom as a long when the stores are closed indefinitely, because I don't know how to build a spreadsheet with indefinitely in the revenue line. But they're not going to close for business. This, of all times, right now in the consumer space, is a long short, just bliss land. What's happened with this virus is like every recession you've ever imagined all at once, and it's hitting guys like Macy's at just a terrible time. I've got a position there. I've got a position in the Gap. I've got a position in Foot Locker. I have a good imagination. I know a lot about retail. I can't imagine how these guys win. It's just kind of a matter of how you trade it.
Right. Well, I've got one for you, Jeff. I know it's one that we used to talk about a lot. And luckily, this one worked out for me this year, and I got out. But I remember us, let me see, I'm going to start with a fresh chart here. Let's go. Our old buddy L Brands, Jeff. This one,
the
oh
poltergeist
my
house. You got Lowe's up there. LB is what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, I guess my fat finger didn't quite hit it right. There we go.
You just got the L. Yeah, you don't want to confuse the two. There's violates several federal statutes. Down 20%. It couldn't happen to a nicer group of guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, what they did, Jeff, was, of course, let me pull up a quick year to date here. There's that run that took us basically from January, when it was an $18 stock, all the way up towards 25 here. And it went up there because they're going to be dishing out Victoria's Secret, and I guess sticking around with the Bath and Body Works, I guess, and Pink.
They got Bath and Body Works, which has been, this is actually kind of a similar story to Gap. L Brands just gives me the heebie-jeebies because of Wexner and everything else that's been going on there for years. Victoria's Secret's been just dragging them down, but at the same time, Bath Body is basically a candle store. So it looks pretty good relative to Victoria's Secrets, but who knows what's going on in the culture at this place. They kind of leaked that breakout to a bunch of different analysts over the course of January, man, and they ripped the face off of the longs. I anything in the mall at this point, I kind of can't believe I'm not short it, but it's also hard to really understand how something like Simon Property not collecting rent for a couple months comes as a shock to people at this point. I don't know if the reality is just sinking in or what's sinking other than these stock prices, but L Brands isn't 20% worse than it was yesterday. I've kind of always thought of it as the poltergeist house. I don't want to go near that stock, but it's not 20% yesterday worse today than it was a day ago.
Right. But boy,
there it is.
Yep. Taking it apart. And like I say, I think a lot of these Wall Street adages, Jeff, are coming back in vogue. Some of them being things like, buy rumor, sell news. Okay. Also something like this one, talk about catching a falling knife here. This has been one of those situations where you might have thought on March 12th, boy, it can't get a lot worse than that. and then it gaps lower the next day and goes from 20 to 16, and then goes from 16 down to basically $8 over the course of the next couple sessions. I mean, that's pretty damn ugly.
Real money.
Great.
Real money. It's been unbelievable. If you pull up Gap, they did the same thing in terms of sell the news, where they ran that stock up to the low 30s about a year ago. They announced they were going to break it all up. It was going to be, we're spinning it off. We're going to be just Old Navy, and the Gap's going to be its own thing to God knows who. And then a couple months ago, this year in 2020, they announced that they were undoing that breakup. So meantime, the stock has gone from the low 30s to it went all the way through the hand sizes. It traded with a 5 handle today, which I've been following the Gap for 20, 25 years. That's remarkable, the way these companies have unraveled. And, it really kind of comes down to just CapEx. Eventually, the way these stocks are trading, it's finally kind of occurring to Wall Street that Gap really doesn't have a plan B other than just almost 4,000 stores. And the truth is, they should have been going omni-channel a long time ago, and they've given up just a lot of the performance and the share to Lululemon, and share's not coming back. Gap has had an incredible run for decades, but man, they need omni-channel like nobody's business, and they don't have the cash right now. They don't have the game plan. They got a brand new CEO who, God bless her. If she brings them back from this, she deserves whatever awards they can give her, because it just structurally, they're in a lot of trouble, and they've got no store traffic to help them at all for the next couple of quarters.
Well, Jeff, couple other names I'd love to throw at you. One of them's Nike. You know it well. They have shut down their North American stores. That doesn't mean production, folks, which I don't think any production's in North America anyway. But they've shut down their stores for about 2 weeks, again, hoping to keep their people away from other people, and trying to flatten that curve, as we've all talked about. And here there's a 31% drop year to date. Let's take a look at the monthly on this one. Most of that damage coming in the last month, of course. And here is it trying to bounce here on St. Patrick's Day from a low this morning, right around, what was that thing this morning? Well, that's percentage wise. Let me show you the other. The low this morning, Jeff, was right around 62.50, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Traded
Which
all
are
the
levels we have not seen in forever on Nike. It's
traded $10 over that, like that. I mean, in other words, Jeff, went from that print at about 62.50 to then you see it trading on the highs today at $73.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. We know what Nike is. We know where people buy them for the most part. We know a lot of them can buy them online as well. Maybe that's why it recovered somewhat fast versus.
But $10, I mean, I'm just trying to picture someone looking all that stuff up on Google, and they finally heard about Nike for the first time today, and they realized over the course of the day, because you're exactly right, that is the story with Nike. It's they can close the stores, and they want nothing more than to go digital, and their margins are actually pretty good online, and their stores, they track their own inventory much better than Foot Locker or Dick's or anywhere else that sells Nike. So this isn't necessarily all that bad for them. And then you get to the part where they cancel all the spring sports for every single school. My kid's a track guy. I was into Nike for at least $1,000 before this thing happened, just to suit him up. You extrapolate that over every single kid who does any sport, and it becomes a really big number. And that's a lot to go away. They still refuse to cancel the Olympics. Who knows when the Japanese will do that? Maybe that's a buy the news event, but Nike is an amazing company, and they're gonna be here, and they're gonna sell a ton of very comfortable clothes to a bunch of very bored Americans over the next few weeks. But right now, it's just gonna be a show me story. They gotta get their traction. I kind of just always default to the mental idea of a guy in a bucket shop just trying to move stock. He doesn't really give a shit if you make money or not. He can talk you out of any retailer in 5 seconds right now. You know, you just, hey, that coronavirus, that seems bad. You know, sell. You know, absolutely. Get me out of it. Do I want to die for Macy's here? No, I don't. Do I want to die for Nike? No. I love it. They're incredible. But as long as the stock is going to go down 10% every time someone notices that there aren't going to be any spring sports this year, you just can't be long. It's just way too expensive to wait. But getting down here, man, it's if you would have asked either one of us 3 months ago if you can get Nike with a 5 handle, would you have taken it all day? Back up the dump truck. And so it's really a matter of time. The market's not going to stop having a lot of stock available to buy until you get some certainty. But once you do, I got to think people are going to be grabbing for stocks like this because, Nike's not going bankrupt. And if we're quarantined long enough for Nike to go bankrupt, it's end times anyway. So screw it. You're not going to want to own athletes or get long caskets.
Jeff, how about Foot Locker as the play on both Nike and Adidas? There's Foot Locker on the screen. That's a year to 3 month, basically a year to date. Let's take
a tough road. Yeah.
Look at that 1 month graph of this thing. And if I throw it into, the percentage wise, you're getting it at a 41% discount in a month.
Which is amazing. And you know what's really amazing is the stock probably didn't get any cheaper because they're not going to move any inventory. These guys are at the snap end of the whip when it comes to the supply chain. So to the extent Nike has a problem making shoes, which I don't think they do, but they'll stick Foot Locker with them anyway. Nike, it's in a way this shutdown plays to their advantage because they've been trying to drive people to their own experience. Nike has an incredible website that is kind of befitting what they want to be, a super slick athletic apparel company. Foot Locker is a guy in a ref jersey selling you $700 shoes. It's not a business model that works under any circumstances. And man, right now, if someone putting their size to sell shoes, John, I can't handle even the thought of fitting on someone's kind of damp foot a shoe for them to try on. The inventory doesn't work. These stores, they're not going to hit their earnings number and they're going to miss by a number to be determined later. So they have a real value trap aspect to them because it's these companies are never cheap. Macy's is yielding potentially 20% or something right now. They're suggesting the dividend's not going to get paid. It's who knows where it stops for these guys, but bankruptcy is going to be the fate of more than one of these retailers.
Wow, and that's just brutal on Foot Locker here. Just an incredible drop, to see that.
And man, 30 looked like it would kind of hold. I've been through Foot Locker a time or two. It's not a very good retailer, and I haven't been that much of a fan. But you got to have some pity on the thing. This truly is an unforeseeable event. The company should have marshaled its cash, obviously, much more carefully years ago. But it's just hard to see how they kind of pull out of it. They're competing with their own vendor, their biggest vendor, Nike. Foot Locker is not going to be able to keep up. They're not going to be able to spend enough money to kind of justify Nike's best, highest end product. And so now you're just a shoe store at the mall, which are two things that people don't like, shoe stores and malls.
Yeah, it sounds like one of Dante's circles of hell. When you think about trying on shoes at a mall right now.
Yeah, with the community sock. Would you like a sock? Don't worry, we've got one for everybody.
Now, Jeff,
future retail.
Let me ask you, so when you've got something like this going on, of course, which we have not seen. We haven't seen the full shuttering of America before, and we're moving in that direction, obviously. Many parts of the country, restaurants are closed. In some parts, they're letting half of the prescribed limit, those occupancy limit signs you occasionally see posted up back by the restrooms when you're going to various restaurants or bars. You might see capacity 230. And apparently in some parts of the country, they're letting half of that number in. In other parts, they're saying nobody goes in, only food goes out. We will let them do food delivery and takeout, but we will not let you come into the restaurant. we've not seen a full shutdown like this. Would you think, when you're trying to come up with comparisons, that would you compare it at all, Jeff, to like a tornado or a flood or a hurricane where businesses shut down, but they're not shut down for the most part for a month or 8 weeks or longer than that even?
Right.
What kind of comparison would you draw to something
You
like?
know, it is a natural disaster type of comparison. And so you have all elements of kind of all the great meltdowns. You have the absolute, the most uncertain of all time. You know, it's a virus, a killer virus of kind of fatality rate to be determined later. That's a really, really bad headwind. And so that'll keep people inside. It's in terms of what it does to the markets, you can't even start analyzing what the cash flow of some of these restaurants are worth because you have no idea what the world looks like 3 months from now. But in the meantime, what I think, kind of your mid-level worst case scenario is going to be limiting the touches that people have for any product that you get. We can order more stuff than ever online. Between online and apps, the consumer doesn't have to wither away and die. We can get online, we can get delivery. You can limit the touches by just letting essential employees be on the roads. And that will be its own stimulus program. If you limit the traffic on the roads, it creates the social distancing. If you have just restaurant, food delivery workers, people that are essential to literally keep America alive, are the ones that can violate this quarantine, or they have rights to move around however quarantine works. We're Americans, we're new to all this stuff. But when we get serious about it, if we get serious about it, that's how we'll stop it, is we'll just limit the number of touches that you have when you're getting your food, when you're getting your basic goods, your cleaning supplies. We've got enough of this stuff. We have enough stores. I'm long the big box stores because I think they win no matter what. Target and Walmart have what people need. People want to buy it. They've got the money to buy it. America will figure out a way to make that transaction happen. The specifics are just going to get worked out in the next couple of weeks.
Just on the screen before I flip to Target, Jeff, Darden restaurants, look at that, 67%, almost all of it since February 24th. I mean, Look at that drop. That's just
a beating. Just incredible. And these are such boring businesses, Doc, which is really kind of, it's the lesson here. No business is boring if you create a headwind out of nowhere to this degree. But again, returning to our hypothetical bucket shop broker, you want some Red Lobster right now? You want a little Olive Garden? Hey, it's an endless family pasta jamboree. Oh God, just stick the virus right in my vein. Make it easier for me. You can't defend these stocks. And that's not a particularly rational answer. If you're trying to model these things, you and I both know you need some sort of number. Even when it's a fake number, even when management sandbags it, you at least need a baseline of some sort. And right now, the only managers who are telling you the truth are the ones who say, I have no effing idea what impact this is going to have on Q3. How on earth could I know that? I'm not even sure if my kid's going to school today. That's the life of like every CEO in corporate America. They don't know. And if they don't know, how are we going to know? And if we don't know, what are you trading? Just chill. It's all we can do is kind of ride it out. And, if you weren't liquid, you probably got liquid one way or the other over the last couple of weeks, and just try to relax and do less. It's my bet is always that America's not going to blow itself up. I think we'll figure it out. I just don't think we need to hurry up about it.
Folks, we've been talking with Jeff Mackey. If you follow him on Twitter already, great. You already know he's a master with the crayon and the, is that a Surface tablet or is that the iPad?
It's the iPad. Love the iPad.
All right.
It's made me virtually paperless by accident, not even to signal. I kind of want to use paper just because I don't want to look like a hippie, but I don't anymore at all. The iPad is terrific. That's an unpaid endorsement, folks.
Well, you can follow him at JEFFMACKE. That's his Twitter handle, at Jeff Mackey, MACKE. And you'll see all kinds of great information coming your way. Some of it'll make you laugh and some of it'll make you think really hard about some of these things, like why did people wait so long to start hitting these mall stocks, Jeff?
I have no idea.
In particular,
people are a mystery, baby. We'll laugh a little, we'll cry a little, we'll learn something. Who knows?
And folks, You will get an opportunity again this year to see Jeff out in Las Vegas in at our event, September 25th, 26th. That's marketrebellion.com/Vegas 2020. Marketrebellion.com/Vegas 2020. You'll be able to check that out because Jeff always does a fabulous job in front of the crowd, in front of the camera. And I think you really enjoy seeing Jeff, who's one of our surprise guests. But now, since you were watching this live, because the surprise is out there.
It's out there, baby.
Jeff, I really appreciate your time today, my friend. We'll have to do it again very soon. But
Absolutely.
I really appreciate the insights. Anything else you want to leave us with before you go, sir?
You know what? Just buckle up and bet on the American consumer. Just figure out companies where they've got ways to get product in the consumer's hands no matter what happens. I think over the long haul, those are going to win.
Well said. Thank you very much, Jeff. Folks,
Right on, Doc.
I encourage you again at Jeff Mackey, JEFFMACKE on Twitter. Fabulous follow and a great friend. So thanks for joining us, Jeff. Thank you, all of you, for joining us as well. We'll put up a link to this as well right after the broadcast. Thank you.